This is Skooliebert. In our last video, we took out all of the floors and treated all of the rust. In this video, come along as we start work on the sides and the ceiling. You can tell a lot about a person by the way they keep their workspace. So, if it's nice and clean and neat and orderly, then the person's probably pretty reliable, conscientious, count on their work. But I thought I would just take this opportunity to show you my workspace in the bus. I think maybe I've got to spend some time on cleanup. What a mess. Now let's see how we got to that point. It was rivet day. Time to pull down all of the side panels and all of the ceiling panels, and that means hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rivets. We tried a whole bunch of different methods for getting the rivets off, but a lot of them worked for a little bit or worked on some of the rivets and not on others. We had aluminum rivets and steel rivets. We had some rivets that were hard, some rivets that were soft, but we ended up trying a whole bunch of different methods. The first method that worked on a lot of the rivets was to punch the centers out with an air hammer and a pointed bit, and then to chisel the heads off with the same air hammer and a chisel bit. This worked for a lot of the soft rivets on the sides. And when it worked really well. When the side panel comes off, you can see that Bluebird wasn't really paying close attention to detail on the installation. We also found that drilling the heads out worked on a lot of the aluminum rivets once the center has been punched out. I'll spare you the hours and hours and hours of sealing rivets. We'll just do a time lapse for that. On the ceiling, we used a combination of the air hammer with a punch to knock the centers out and a angle grinder to cut a groove across the head of the rivets, and then the air hammer took the rivets heads off with the chisel. You want me to work on some?
12,000 more to go.
Okay. You want me to do some?
Okay.
Sometimes I have to let the compressor catch up. Okay, that's about it. All the ceilings are down, the walls are off of it, and in the next video we're probably going to be doing some window leak repairs, maybe some window deletes, we'll see. Hey, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bells, and if you're really interested in a pro tip, keep listening to hear me rant about Teflon tape. Thanks. Today I'm out in the bus taking care of some odds and ends, and I have something to take care of that I see a lot of other people doing in a way that just drives me crazy. It's a tiny thing, but it just drives me crazy. And that is when they're putting Teflon tape on any kind of a threaded fitting. A lot of people know that you have to turn, or you have to put it on clockwise so that it's like you're screwing the threads into the Teflon tape so that the tape stays on the fitting when you're screwing the fitting into something else. But what I see a lot of people doing is they take the tape off of the roll and then they put it on like this. So they're unrolling the roll of Teflon tape as it goes onto the fitting. And I mean, that's fine. It's a pet peeve of mine. It drives me crazy. If you turn the roll over so that as you're putting the tape on the fitting, it tightens the tape like this, then as your tape comes off of the roll, you can just let it slide through your fingers. You end up with the Teflon tape tight on the fitting, and also you don't end up with a big long string of it that you have to roll back onto the roll of Teflon tape. And then when it's time to break it off, you've got enough Teflon tape on the fitting. All you have to do is put your thumb on the fitting and then pull it away from the Teflon tape, and your tape stays on your fitting and your tape stays on the roll. You don't have any big long stringers. Again, it's really no big deal. It's just a pet peeve of mine to roll the tape on in the direction that it is tightening on the roll instead of loosening on the roll, so you don't end up with 6 inches of Teflon tape out here and you're trying to get it onto your fitting. So hope that helps somebody. If it's uncomfortable for you, then feel free to do it your own way. It's just my thing.